So, so I had introduced you, and then my next question was if you could tell everybody a little bit more about the products that PlayAttention has, and who you're serving.
Oh,
That seems to be the magic question that cuts you off. Your video freezes, and we can't hear you.
NASA, you're pissing us off.
I really have someone angry today. PlayAttention is actually.
Oh, we got 2 words in. Oh, and there goes your video. Oh. This is going to be a really good show when we finally get it done.
I'm so excited for it.
What's better? We're talking about video and we can't get the video guy to have good video. Oh my goodness.
I honestly, like, this fascinates me. This whole subject fascinates me. And so I'm really excited for this interview because I want to know all about it.
Well, and we've been trying to interview also Kevin Roberts. So if Kevin is paying attention, I hope he's listening. Because Stacey, remind me the title of his book. It's Cyber Junkie. Cyber Junkie. Where he talks about his own video game addiction. So
I know, it's like such a fascinating, I mean, it's like video games can help you, video games can harm you. It's all this whole balance thing that we have to figure out too. But I guess also, it depends on the subject matter of the video game. I mean, one that is infused with biofeedback versus killing zombies,
right.
probably
well, and even,
affects you differently.
Randy Kuhlman, one of the things that he talks about at Learning Works for Kids, which the site is actually for adults. So it teaches them about how to kind of prompt their kids to be using different executive skill sets depending on the games that they're playing.
That's cool. That is just so cool. Yes.
Yeah.
And
so, if you think about it, like, if you're doing a car game, there's some planning involved. There's some impulse control stuff. You don't want to be hitting things. You don't want to be smashing things, whatever. So, organization, all of these things can be done in a video game or through, apps, maybe not on Google Hangouts for some of us, but yeah, it's really fascinating to me. And, obviously Randy really goes into that for each game. They go and do this whole review and talk about how to do this. So it's like if you're mindful about it, it takes on a different level as opposed to if you're just playing the game just to...
For sure. If you literally are having to use your mind to accelerate or... But this is... So then I guess my question is, when you're doing this, how do you... Because supposedly with biofeedback, once you go through a certain number of treatments, it works and you stay that way. And so is that kind of just like a, for lack of a better term coming to me right now, muscle memory thing where you're continuously doing that and then it trains your brain to be able to react that way?
Yeah, from everything that I'm reading in the research, there's a lot of conflicting conversation about whether, once you go through it, you're kind of good to go. And I think obviously when you're younger, your muscles are you're gonna develop that skill, and maybe it'll stick a little bit longer because your muscles are a little more resilient, or they'll hold on to things a little bit longer.
Right.
Whereas old dogs learning new tricks, it might take a little bit more. So there's a question about whether after you do a certain amount of these exercises, like brain training exercises, do you have to go back at another point and keep this up?
Yeah.
So that you can keep on doing this, or again, are you just good to go? So, I think either way. I know, one of the examples I always come up with is my grandmother was deathly afraid of getting Alzheimer's disease. And so she decided that if she could keep track of 2 books and, the storylines of 2 books at a time, that would be a good indication to her that she was not going to get Alzheimer's, and it also was a good way to keep from getting Alzheimer's.
Right.
And she lived to like 92 years old, and she never had Alzheimer's. Her sister, on the other hand, did develop dementia. It wasn't necessarily Alzheimer's, but and she was not an avid reader. So there definitely are some, whether it was genetics, luck, or the
Right.
fact that she was reading. It was training
Right.
her brain to keep track of things, to be organized.
That's interesting. I wish I could do that with my brain.
Part of it is it's hard to sit down. I mean, you know, I know Luminosity is one of the companies online that you
Yes,
can go
I've
to.
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and I've gone through some of the exercises, but there's nobody there holding me accountable to do it. Whereas
Right.
if you go to somebody like PlayAttention and you either go through one of their affiliates or you go through, you know, one of their providers, you've got somebody who's checking up on you. There's somebody else looking at the data of how you're doing. It's not
It's more
just
like a doctor appointment as opposed to you trying to get your ass online and do something
Right.
added to your to-do list. Right.
And it may, and I'm not sure, I don't know that if they've got an online component. Again, it'd be great to have Peter here so we can find out.
I love that we're doing the whole show, his show without him.
Stacey, does that reminiscent of something?
Yeah, no, not at all. How many times has this happened?
Oh my God. So for those of you who didn't pay attention at the very beginning of our broadcasting in March, Stacey and I actually met because she was being interviewed on Attention Talk Radio with Jeff Copper. And in the middle of it, Stacey just disappeared. And I ended up like basically reading all of her stories. And Jeff and I were talking about them for, it was at least a good 10 minutes until Stacey came back on the line. So
That was awesome. That was awesome.
I
Yeah.
see Peter's trying to get on, but right now he's just a circle with a silhouetted head that's not even his.
I love that head. Like, what kind of neck is that?
I know, right? He got slimmer. First he went and got a tan. Now he's
You
got
guys are
very
just
slim.
you're abusive here.